And the local clinic, if my son comes down with an ear infection or something like that, it's free to go there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, I'm Ray with Adventure Freaks Podcast. Welcome to the show. And today we will explore the enchanting land of Belize. Belize is a jewel in Central America with a rich history, diverse culture, and breathtaking landscapes. It's the only Central American country where English is the official language, which is ideal for retirees and expats that only speak English. Today, we'll delve into the cost of living and what it's like to live or retire in Belize, helping you assess if it's the right fit for you and your budget. So thank you for viewing, and please subscribe and hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps us immensely. So let me introduce my guest. Megan Rodden is a friend of mine. We've done this before. Megan, it's great to see you. How are you?
You too. Thanks. I'm good. Living
Okay,
living
so
the
I'm
dream
gonna just
still.
give the let me give the viewers a little background. So Megan started, she lives in Belize with her family, and she started the Real Life Recess blog. We're going to put that in the podcast so you guys can check it out. Her blog is for anyone contemplating moving to Belize, people with ties to the peninsula's communities, and anyone interested in the wild, unique, and beautiful country of Belize. Real Life Recess chronicles expat life in Placencia and local happenings, family friend activities, and other adventures around the country, amenities, excursions, dining, cost of living, healthcare, as well as the triumphs and challenges Megan and her family encounters living in Belize. So check this blog out. It's fantastic. Megan, great to see you. Did I miss anything?
No, thank you so much.
All right. Well, let's dive into it. Well, tell us a little bit about how you've been doing. Last time we talked was, I think, almost a couple years ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
give people an idea where you're from and how you chose Belize and what's going on there.
Okay, so I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, and my husband and we moved to Belize in 2017 when our son was not even 2 years old. And that was after many years. We always wanted to move abroad, right? So we were doing research, and every time we had a annual vacation, we would go somewhere with the idea of, like, could this be a place that we could see, our future at? And we found Belize actually on a cruise. The first time we came here was just, like the 5 hours that you hit on a cruise. And we did cave tubing, which is like
Oh,
such a cool, experience. I say, if you come to
yeah.
Belize, like, definitely do cave tubing. And so on the bus ride to and from the cave, my head was on swivel. I was, like, oh, what is this country? Like, it wasn't even on our radar
Yeah.
prior to that. So, I went home and I did all this research, and it really just was ticking a lot of boxes for me. We had kind of narrowed our search to the Caribbean, just simply like for proximity to the U.S. And if you think of Belize in Caribbean terms, it's the least expensive place to live. Of course, if you think of it in Central American terms, it's the most expensive place to live. But we thought that was a great trade-off, especially because the official national language is English, so it's so easy, to understand. Like the
Ac-
laws and the signage and, like X, Y, and Z, as well as like the relative ease of immigration. Now everyone has their own immigration experience, but in general, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward, and it's fairly easy
Mhm.
comparatively, when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are immigrating somewhere.
What is cave tubing?
So Belize has a lot of cave systems. We actually have one of they think it's the most extensive cave network in all of Central and South America. So like we just have a lot of caves, and there's wet and there's dry caves, right? So in a wet cave, you would get an inner tube, your life jacket, helmet with the flashlight on it, and you float. It's a lazy river ride through a subterranean maze. It's
Wow.
it's really neat.
Wow, that sounds kind of scary.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
If the cave collapses, then you'd have to dive underneath or whatever to get out.
Okay, the caves don't collapse, okay?
Actually, that sounds like a lot of fun. I think I'd really dig it too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's dive into, let's see if, what's anything's changed in Belize affordability to see, help our viewers understand if this is the right place for them. Let's talk about what do you know about visa requirements and how do most people stay in Belize and anything you could tell us about that.
Sure. Most people, and like I guess I'm speaking, Americans, Canadians, most European countries, you can come to Belize without, any special visa. You can just come on a visitor with your regular passport on a visitor's visa, and you can stay in the country for up to 30 days. After 30 days, you can renew that visitor's visa at any of the immigration offices. It's just, like a next stamp in your passport. And the fee is $100 to renew that visa, and then you get another 30 days. So I think most people just do that. And you can kind of like just do that indefinitely. You just keep stamping. You stay for 30 days and then you can just renew at any immigration office. It's just another stamp in your passport for $100 and you get another 30 days. And you can, just basically keep doing that indefinitely
You have to do that
or
every month?
every month,
So every month
every
you'd have to pay $100 to
hundred
stay there.
dollars and renew your visitor's visa. And then after a year of doing that, if you hadn't left more than 14 days within that time period, you could apply for permanent residency, which I think a lot of people do. And there's other things that you have to do with that application, like a police check and an interview and things like that. But you could become a permanent resident of Belize, and then you wouldn't have to worry about, renewing those visas and stuff. And there's other ways to residency. There's work permits and there's student visas, and then we also have the qualified retirees
Uh-huh.
program, which is like once annually, so you don't have to worry about going, every 30 days to the immigration office. And it's for anyone, they just dropped the age requirement. Now it's for anyone 45 years and older. And you just have to show an annual income or monthly income of at least 24,000 US dollars or $2,000 a month, right?
Okay.
For this qualified. And and then the other thing is you have to not only show it, but you have to deposit it here into
Okay.
Belize. So they, but that's what you would use to, live on and what have you. And then that's a nice, and you just renew that annually instead of every month.
Are you using the banking system in Belize?
We are now. They make it incredibly difficult for foreigners to bank here. So
Mhm.
we've been here 7 years. We're permanent residents, and so we were able to open bank accounts once we became residents. But in the
Mhm.
beginning, it was such a hassle. They want like so much from foreigners to open bank accounts here.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's a matter of jumping through hoops, I guess.
Yeah, but no issue with the banking system. It seems to be pretty
Yeah,
stable
we
and
keep we keep our US accounts. We keep most of our
sure.
money still in the US. The only thing with Belize is like the Belize dollar, it's no good anywhere other than Belize. And it's kind
Yeah.
of hard to get your money out. Even when we go to Mexico, you couldn't use like your Belize bank card to pull from an ATM over in Mexico. So we don't keep a ton of money in the local banks.
Yeah. Is Belize the currency, the US dollar?
We have our own dollar, but it's
Okay.
the exchange rate is dead set 2 to 1. So US
Okay.
dollars are widely accepted here. So you go into a shop, and if something cost $4 for Belize dollars, you can give them 4 Belize dollars or you can give them 2 US dollars.
Mhm.
It's just like have that in your mind. It's whatever the price is in Belize dollars, like just cut it in half, and that's the US price. So
Okay.
it makes it really easy to, you know, do that conversion in your head.
Great. Okay, cool. let's move on to rentals. So
Sure.
today, somebody that's interested in living, working there as a digital nomad or retiring, what can they find? What do rentals start out at there? And
Yeah, this is gonna disappoint a lot of people because they think, and I guess, like real estate agents and International Living Magazine and everyone who's like, kind of like um putting this glossy spin on things is like, oh, it's a really cheap place, to live or move and retire. And it's really not that cheap.
yeah,
Rent is, especially if you're going to live by North American standards, expect to pay North American prices. Like
uh,
whatever they are basing this, oh, it's so affordable to live there. It's not the way that we're accustomed to living, and it's
yeah,
probably not the way you're gonna, like so yeah, rent like just average on a a decent one, maybe two bedroom place at you're a thousand US a month, is what you can expect to pay in, at least in Placencia. Um,
okay. And
yeah,
Placencia, is that kind of like one of the hot neighborhoods close to the beach? And is
it
it like
it
this
is.
kind of the center area where you can walk to locations?
Yeah, yeah. I will
Okay.
say, the Placencia Peninsula, it's a main hotspot for tourism, for expats, retirees. So obviously that has draw. Everyone wants to be here, and it's a really skinny peninsula. So the
Mm.
demand, for this space, and the space is limited. So that's really driven up our market, real
Yeah.
estate market.
All right. So like Palencia, kind of the center area, you're looking at $1,000 for a rental. Is that like a one bedroom?
Yeah, that's pretty much like a nice one bedroom with some outdoor space. And so like when you're looking at rentals, if you see something really cheap, you're like, "Oh, this must be a great deal." Remember that like you have to ask questions that you wouldn't expect to have to ask. Like, is there glass in the windows, like, or, is there hot water in my shower? All these things that like we take for granted as
Sure.
like standards, those are luxuries here. So,
Yeah.
just, yeah, like air conditioning and things like that, like that's top tier sort of
Sure.
things for an apartment or
What
a
would a two
house.
bedroom go for over there?
Um, you're looking around like the 1300, up
Okay.
to like 1500
Okay.
a month.
That's two bedroom. Now, if you go outside of this center area, you get a little bit
Sure.
further out. You're going to need
Yeah,
some kind of a scooter to get in and out, but what could you find something just outside for the more frugal kind of, buyers or seekers for
yeah. There's some
affordability?
other like hot spots like inland, kind of like other villages or towns like around more rural areas. So a
Uh-huh.
lot of people are moving to like the outskirts of Spanish Lookout is the place that they should look up. And it's traditionally a Mennonite community. But there's I mean, first of all, it's beautiful. It's, like the farmlands, the rolling hills. But then there's also a lot of great amenities as far as furniture stores and auto mechanic shops and
They
things
make
like that,
great
restaurants.
furniture.
Yeah, they do. So a lot of people are moving to like the villages surrounding Spanish Lookout, and it's really land, houses are really affordable out there. You
Okay.
can get acreage, for under 100,000 US dollars.
Wow. Okay. So it's affordable to purchase. Are there any rentals out there?
I think that there's certainly less rentals available in places that just aren't like touristy areas,
Hmm.
or like traditionally one of the places for. But like I said, more and more people are finding that appealing. So you're gonna have in the next couple years, you're gonna be finding more and more rentals available.
Now, let me ask you, is there any place outside of this Placencia area that expats do live that find rentals or one bedrooms or two bedrooms for five, six, $700 a month? Are there any areas like that in Belize any longer?
I mean, there's always there's always those rentals available. They're just like the unicorn, right? And you're not gonna come from somewhere and luck into that. You're gonna probably be here and be paying more. And then the next time you're renewing your lease, by talking to other people, making connections, you're gonna find, like you'll be able to step down your spending.
It makes sense. You got to be a
Yeah,
local to find the deals.
yeah.
Okay. What do you guys budget currently for utilities per month? What do typically people pay? Now, you're a family, so you're going to probably pay a little bit more. Um,
Yeah. So water and garbage are really cheap. We pay like 11 US a month for garbage pickup, and it's twice a week. And we own a guest house. So like my numbers are not going to be like single family numbers maybe.
sure, sure.
And then but like water is also, like 1 cent a gallon, and so that's really great. Cable, we pay about 35 for
Okay.
cable a month, and then our internet is 60 a month. Um, Electricity is really like the big one. So really like everything else is pretty affordable, or less than we would pay in the US. Electricity is a lot more. We've paid up to $700 a month for uses. But again, like, we have air conditioning units, we have a pool with a pump that's running,
Yeah.
washing and drying machine. So, ours is a lot higher than than you would have to,
Well, you
spend.
rent some properties too, and they're going to be running aircon the
Right.
entire time they're there. So,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, do you think for a single person, what can they get by on in electric in a month?
I think for personal use, if you're kind of frugal with it, you could spend, like $100 a month.
100.
If you're going to be using AC occasionally, like, or anything else, if your washing machine is a, like, and dryer, those would be electric, then maybe like up to 500. But yeah,
Okay.
you can definitely be more frugal.
Yeah, yeah. Water, you mentioned it's really cheap, but how much do you think you would pay on water per month?
We pay less than 50 a month. And that's, I'm sorry, we pay less than 25 US. That was 50 Belize a month.
Okay. Look at you. You're confusing the currencies.
Oh.
You are, you are such a Belizean now.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what do you guys spend on groceries? Are groceries a little bit more affordable down there than they are in the US?
Um, it's no, like short answer, no. Because if you're comparing like apples and apples, first of all, apples are expensive here. You want to be getting bananas. All the imported food is pricier. Like, so I always get a chuckle when, tourists come in and they go through the grocery store or the vegetable stand, and they just get all the things that they're accustomed to getting in the US, and then they get to the checkout and it's like, their bill is like, what? So like a bag of Doritos might be like 17 Belize dollars, but like a bag of the local corn chips is two,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's like learning to shop like and eat like a local. Yeah, so eating all the local and seasonal fruit and vegetables, and but like chicken, egg, like the staple things are a lot more affordable here.
Hmm.
But if you're used to trying, to do like convenience foods and prepackaged things like that, that would all be imported, and that would be a lot more than you're actually, used to paying
Hmm.
in your stores at home.
Okay. What do you think you budget a month for that for groceries?
Um, I'm still learning to, cook and eat like a local. So for my family, I mean, we're still like less than 500 a month on
Uh-huh.
groceries. And then we also eat out a lot. So that kind of like skews my
Yeah,
grocery
I
budget.
separate
Because
that. I keep that in
yeah,
entertainment and restaurants.
yeah. And eating out here is so much more affordable than it is in North America. So we do just find that it's just, easier and cheaper
Okay.
sometimes just to go
So
out.
you're saying 500 a month you spend on groceries,
Hmm.
approximately.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say a single person can get by on a month there, based on what you see?
Um, Probably. yeah, like half. I would half that.
Okay. Okay. All right. And let's jump into entertainment restaurant stuff, budgeting. So you guys go out quite a bit, entertainment. So how much do you feel you budget per month for that? And what can you get like a local restaurant, neighborhood restaurant meal for in Belize?
Okay, so like our the unofficial national dish, the rice and beans, stewed chicken, your little side
Mm,
of salad or whatever,
love it.
a fried plantain. That big portion is $5 US. That's pretty standard. And all the little roadside taco stands and things like that, like you're spending less than $5 US on a meal, typically. When you go out for happy hour, a local beer or a local rum punch is going to be, yeah, like under $5 US. Go to the beach bars, listen to some music.
So beer is almost $5 for a bottle of beer.
Ugh, five Belize. So two 250 US.
Yeah, so I was saying if you probably go out to one of those outskirt roadside places, you could probably get a beer for $1.50 or $1,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. So what do you guys think you spend a month on entertainment restaurants?
Yeah, I'm going to be embarrassed by, what I spend on entertainment because I'm out all the time. But it's really like if you are on a budget, it's really affordable to just, go out and have some happy hour drinks and play trivia or bingo or, listen to the music that they have at the beach bar, and, for a couple bucks. And that's what I think like a lot of the appeal here is, that's just part of the lifestyle and the culture and you know
Yeah, there's a level of when you decide to move overseas and live in places like Belize, you have a nightlife again. You have the ability to go out because it's so cheap.
hmm
It's like you can, if you live in London, you live in New York, you go out to a bar and have a few drinks with friends, you're going to drop, $70, $80
right,
because
yeah,
drinks are, $15 a piece.
yeah.
It's like
And
it's
you
a
might
just
be spending the 70 or 80, but it'll be Belize dollars, not US dollars.
yes. Okay. When you put that all together for a month, how much do you think you budget, or how much would a person need to budget to go out on a weekly basis and eat and go to a local pub?
I mean, it depends, how
Sure.
much out there you want to be, but like, 500 to 1,000 a month.
Okay, that's USD.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a party animal.
I said, don't ask me, like, don't take my.
All right, Megan, let's dive into healthcare. Everybody that wants to move down to Central America and Belize want to know what the healthcare is like, and is there an insurance plan that you guys are on that they can obtain, and how much it costs per month?
Okay, so we have been thinking about getting an insurance policy, but as of right now, and for the past 7 years, we haven't had any, and we sort of just put a little money away as like we self-insure, right, in case we had an emergency or
Yes.
we needed, but it's pretty cheap and easy to just pay out of pocket. And of course, like we're young and knock on wood, healthy people. So we're not needing too much as far as healthcare goes, other than like routine dentist visits or what have you. So it's really easy for us to just pay out of pocket for that sort of
Mhm.
stuff as we go along. And the local clinic, if my son comes down with an ear infection or something like that, it's free to go there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you
Is
can
that
always use
free
that.
for every expat or just because you're a resident?
I'm pretty sure like they just don't have the ability to charge. So even if you
I
were,
see.
like a tourist, they still can't. Or sometimes I've been asked for like $2, and I'm like, what is that going to buy? Like some tongue
Wow.
depressors, like and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. But yeah, so that sort of stuff is free, but like for anything, we usually use like the private clinics, and a an appointment with a private doctor, including whatever medication that you're going to get or whatever, is like $50. So we're happy to pay that. Same with a dentist visit, and a cleaning is, around 50 US, a
Hmm.
little less. And so that's what we've been doing. But access to healthcare. So, like again, like I'm sure like the real estate agents and like, International Living Magazine, they want to say, oh yeah, the healthcare is great. Like it is fine most of the time, but it's
Yeah.
like a matter of getting to it. Like in Placencia, which is one of the hot spots for tourism, for expats, for everything like that. Like we still don't have a regular doctor that we can count on, that I could, like if I have an emergency at 9 o'clock at night, on Thursday, like there might not be a doctor on the peninsula, and I'm
Mm.
taking a boat ride, or, I'm taking a 2 hour drive inland to get to a hospital. So, I mean, think that's something people should be aware of. It's not a nice part of life here, but it's something that you have to take ownership for your own, like well-being, and you have to kind of like plan accordingly. And there's no 24-hour pharmacies, or, things like that. So I always have, infant Tylenol on hand if my son, spikes a fever in the middle of the night, or like you just have to have these things like kind of like for yourself, right?
Hmm. Okay. So the another benefit about living in Belize is you're extremely close to the US. So if there is anything that's going on,
Yeah.
you're a hop, skip, and a jump away to get there. Doesn't
Yeah,
take
like
forever.
2 hour flight from from Belize to Miami or
Yes.
Dallas. So it's very close to the US.
Yeah. Okay. Good information. And what's the one thing you love the most about living in Belize? This is your opportunity to sell to all
Okay.
the viewers that are thinking about about living and moving to retiring to Belize.
Yeah. My reasons are like everyone's reasons. I like joke like it's like gringo bingo. It's like the same reasons like everybody, like, oh, like the climate, the people, the lifestyle, like bingo, so I really like the lifestyle that living here affords us. It's very active and outdoorsy. We're in a village where, all your neighbors, and especially like for our son, like I feel like this is just such a wonderful place for children to grow up. Like what an experience for them, and he can free range here, which is like, I know a lot of places in the US you can't do that anymore. Like people are like, oh, and it's not safe and whatever. And here, even if he's, like moving around throughout the village and I don't have eyes on him, I know some other mom does. And I'll get a message, hey, did you know he's down here doing this or with that, and I'm like, okay, cool, like thank you. And so yeah, like as far as like small living goes, I really like that aspect where it's safe, everybody, you're walking to the vegetable stand in the morning, you have to, give 15 good mornings. But it's that's a really nice part of, yeah, so the lifestyle is definitely number one. I like that there seems to be some sort of like excitement. It's a young country, like things are happening, and it's like not only do I get to be witness to that, but you get to be a part of it too, right?
Mhm.
So like that's exciting. And yeah, just the natural beauty, the culture, the food, the everything. Yeah.
Everything. You say it's a young country. Do you see retirees moving there?
Oh, sure. Yeah, and we do have a plenty of retirees moving, and but there is like that turnover, right? So I think like people come and it's great for a number of years until it's not, until maybe their medical issues become such that they have to move back to the US, or maybe move
Mhm.
on to Mexico, or something like that.
Mhm.
But it is, yeah.
Megan Rodden with Real Life Recess. Check her blog out. It is amazing. Megan, thanks so much for doing this again, man. It's great to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much. Anytime.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again. And you have a great rest of the day. Thanks for sharing all this information for the viewers. We appreciate it.
Thank you.